Shalom Aleichem everybody, how are you? I just came back from the States a couple of days ago, a productive trip, Baruch Hashem, but I'm much happy to be home in Eretz Yisrael with my family, with the Talmidim, and with the Yeshiva. It is Parshat Chayei, and I wanted to share with you a very, very quick but important idea. In this week's Parsha, we're told that Avraham Avinu is going to send his Eved, Eliezer, to find a wife for Yitzchak. And he makes him take a shvuah, and the Pasuk tells us, Va'ashpiacha b'Hashem, I want you to take a shvuah. This is found in Perek Dalet, Pasuk Gimel. I want you to take a shvuah that lo tikach isha livni mibnos haknaani asher anochi yoshev b'kirbo. I do not want you to take a girl from the bnos haknaani, from the local girls of Canaan, asher ani yoshev b'kirbo. Do not take a girl from Canaan. And the Kli Yakar is bothered by a very, very obvious question. Okay, first of all, why exactly is Avram so concerned that Eliezer not take a wife for Yitzchak from the Bnos HaKna'ani? You'll tell me because they were Ovdei Avodah Zarah over here in Canaan? Yeah, but they were Ovdei Avodah Zarah also in Haran. What's it going to help to go? You're going to go to the house of Lavan, the house of Besuel. It's any better over there. Why specifically not to take a girl from Canaan? Moreover, there's an extra 4 words at the end of the pasuk. Torah tells us, don't take a girl from Canaan, asher anochi yoshev b'kirbo, because I live in Canaan. That's very interesting. Why do we need that? If the issue is the Bnos Canaan, then why does he have to add Asher Anochi Yoshev B'Kirbo? So the Kli Yakar gives 2 ideas. Both are very, very meaningful, very profound, as to what exactly Avraham Avinu's message was to Eliezer. He says, I don't want you to take a girl from Canaan, Asher Anochi Yoshev B'Kirbo. Says the Kli Yakar, point number 1 is for sure whoever Yitzchak was going to marry, she was going to come from a family of Ovdei Avodah Zarah. That's what existed. It was a pagan world. Whether the girl came from Canaan or the girl came from Haran, you're talking about a world of paganism, a world of Ovdei Avodah Zarah, which meant that whoever Yitzchak was going to marry was going to have to absorb the values of the house of Avram, was going to have to reject the values of where she came from, her family, and was going to have to absorb and take in the unique values of Avraham Avinu, of Sarah, in order to become one of the imahos. That was the challenge and that was the mission. So now the question is, we're going to find a girl for Yitzchak. Where is it going to be easier and how is it going to be easier for her to absorb those values of Avram's home? If we take a local girl, Asher Anochi Yoshev B'Kirbo, a girl from down the block, a girl from the neighborhood, so what's going to happen? She's going to marry Yitzchak. She's going to live in the same neighborhood she grew up in, and every other Shabbos she's going to go back home. She's going to hang out with her old school friends. Is she really going to be able to experience that transformation? It's going to be very, very hard, perhaps impossible to do so. I've understood that in order for Rivka to become Rivka Imenu, she was going to have to undergo a change. She was going to have to transform herself, in a certain sense, walk away from her past. To do that is very difficult if you're in your comfort zone. If you're living right across the street, right at home, every other Shabbos you go back home, very hard to go ahead and forge a new direction. Rivka was going to have to forge that new direction, and therefore she had to have some level of being uprooted from her comfort zone in order to achieve that mission. And that's what Avram understood. Don't take a girl from Bnos Canaan, not because the girls of Haran were so much better, but they were in Haran. They would have to move from Haran to Canaan, to the house of Avram, and then they could become a new person. Then they could really develop themselves. And I think that's a very, very profound mission, because growth requires, in any area, no matter what age you are, growth requires leaving your comfort zone. It requires being stretched a little bit, being a little bit uncomfortable. If everything is very, very comfortable, so it's very, very hard to grow. When you go ahead and think, how I want to grow, what do I want to take on? Taking on something else, taking on something new, learning a half hour in the morning before Shachris. Not an easy thing. That's already making me a little uncomfortable, but it's that uncomfortableness, that leaving one's comfort zone, that's what really enables one to grow. And I think that was what Avram was telling Eliezer. And Avram had this, he saw this in his own life. In order for him to become Avram Avinu, he required a lech lecha me'artzecha me'moladetecha. He needed to leave that comfort zone of home. Klal Yisrael, when they have their first revelation, just like Moshe Rabbeinu when he has his first revelation, it's in the desert. It's away from a regular environment, a regular society. A person needs that to forge a new identity, to forge a new direction. We have to leave that sense of comfort in order to achieve that goal. And that's exactly what the Kli Yakar says. That's those 4 extra words, Asher Anochi Yoshev B'Kirbo. One other point that he makes, again, I think it's a secondary point, but it's also very insightful and very meaningful. He says we are all products. We have midos and we have deos. We have character traits, and then we have philosophical ideas. When it comes to character traits, so character traits are often genetic, and a lot of times we absorb things genetically from the background that we're in. And then we have philosophical ideas. We have deos. Our deos are not genetic. That's something that's environmental. Midos, genetic. Deos, environmental. And again, once again, Rivka was going to have to adopt new deos, new philosophical ideals about how to live. And therefore, she had to put herself in a new environment. Again, midos, that's part of her essence, but her deos, her philosophies, so that's something that a person, it's easier to change, but only if you're in this right environment that can project and reflect that change. So that's exactly what says the pasuk. Rivka was challenged with. That's exactly what the Kliyaka writes. Is that Rivka she had wonderful midos. That's exactly what Eliezer is testing her on to make sure she has great chesed. But she had to experience a little bit of a shift in deos, in her philosophical ideas, and therefore she needed an environment. And what the Kliyaka is telling us is everything is, we're all products of the environment that we're in. When we're in growth-oriented environments, with growth-oriented chevras, GOCs as we like to say, so then it's much easier. We're all chameleons on some level. We chameleonize to the environments that we find ourselves in. That's often a bad thing, and it's often a good thing. It really depends on who we're with. We are products of the people that we associate with. So to always have that sensitivity, and that's exactly what Avram was telling Eliezer, is find a girl not from here, because she's going to have to shift her deos, and that we can accomplish if she is taken away and put into this new, special, growth-oriented environment. When you're in that growth-oriented environment, so the sky's the limit. Rivka becomes, from a home of Besua, from a home of Lavan, she becomes Rivka Imenu. That's very, very profound. That's very dramatic. We need to think about that a little bit as to how a person can really achieve growth, achieve development. And Avram understood that. That's exactly the direction he put Eliezer on. That's the Shvua he mandated Eliezer, to make sure to give Rivka the best opportunities that she needed to become one of the imahos. If Rivka needed that, and Avram understood Rivka needed that, and we need that also. And to go ahead and give ourselves the best opportunities to really grow in whatever way we want to grow, in whatever matter we want to grow, to give ourselves that opportunity to put ourselves in great environments, to indeed sometimes make ourselves a little bit uncomfortable, because from that sense of discomfort, from that sense of imbalance, is often how we can fortify ourselves. We strengthen our muscles by being a little imbalanced. And Bez Hashem, we learn that lesson, we can really accomplish tremendous, tremendous things.